So, here's a huge question for you. How much of who we are is actually dictated by where we live? I mean, it's a question that has fascinated people for centuries, and today, we're going to dive into some of the powerful ideas that have tried to answer it.
To really get to the bottom of this, we're going to look at three major theories. And what's cool is that each one gives a totally different view on this relationship between us and, the planet we call home.
And trust me, this is way more than just some stuffy academic debate. The way we answer this has literally shaped everything from global politics to how we see ourselves. It's led to some really powerful and sometimes pretty dangerous ideas.
Okay, so one of the first and honestly most direct answers to this whole thing was a theory called environmental determinism. It had a really simple and kind of stark explanation for why all the different human societies are, well, so different.
The basic idea here is that the environment pretty much writes the script for human society. Like, if you want to understand a culture, its traditions, its temperament, even how advanced it is, you just had to look at its climate, its mountains, its rivers.
So the really crucial point here is that human agency, our ability to choose for ourselves, is seen as almost non-existent. The environment is the cause, and human culture is just the effect. It's a straight-up one-way street.
Now, as you can probably imagine, this theory is, well, it's widely discredited today, and for some really good reasons. It's just seen as way too simplistic. And even more troubling, it was actually used historically to justify some really nasty racist and colonialist ideas by arguing that, certain climates produced superior cultures. Not good.
So in a direct reaction to that really rigid worldview of determinism, a brand new theory popped up, Possibilism. And what it did was put human choice and our own ingenuity right back in the center of the story.
And this, right here, is a fundamental shift in thinking. We're moving away from a world where humans are just these passive pawns of nature and into a world where they are active players, totally capable of shaping their own path.
So this theory argues that the environment doesn't write a script at all. Instead, it just provides the stage and maybe a few props. It might set some limits, sure, but it's totally up to human culture to decide what kind of play they're going to put on.
Possibilism really champions this idea that humans are creative problem solvers. I mean, a desert might seem like a huge limit, right? But humans can develop irrigation. A super cold climate is a challenge, for sure, but we can build insulated homes and make specialized clothing. We adapt, we innovate.
But what if it's not just about limits or choices? There's a more modern view called cultural ecology that sees this whole relationship as less of a one-way street and more of a dynamic conversation.
So it's not simply about the environment's limits or human choice, it's about this ongoing two-way relationship between them. This theory gets that as we adapt to our environment, we are always inevitably changing it in the process.
At its heart, this idea was pioneered by an anthropologist named Julian Steward, and it really just focuses on this fundamental connection. It looks at how a culture's core, how it gets food, its technology, is shaped by its environment, and then how that core shapes everything else in the society.
This whole process isn't just a single action. It's a continuous feedback loop. You can almost think of it like a dance between a culture and its landscape, where each partner is constantly responding to the other's moves, constantly changing and being changed.
So let's zoom out a bit. We've just journeyed through three really distinct ways of seeing this human-environment connection, and each one kind of built on and reacted to the one that came before it.
This table really nails the evolution of these ideas perfectly. Our perspective shifted from seeing humanity as just a passive recipient of whatever nature threw at it, to being an active decision maker, and finally to being a dynamic participant in that ongoing interactive dance.
And here's the crucial takeaway. These aren't just competing theories where one is right and the others are wrong. They're more like different lenses, and each one, even the flawed early ones, can give us a different kind of insight into why societies develop the way they do. They help us ask better questions about our past, our present, and our future.
Which, of course, leaves us with a final and pretty critical question for our time. I mean, in an age of AI and accelerating climate change, that dance between humanity and the environment is definitely still going. But you have to wonder, who's leading now? And where exactly are we headed?